Welcome back to Learn Economia. Here in this video also we are going to cover a very new topic. Though this is considered to be the basics of economics, it's very important to understand this topic because this has got its applicability in diverse fields of economics. Even though you move apart from economics, you will be able to find this concept very much useful because you could see that the application of economics is not restricted within the field of economics alone, but you could find its applications in diverse fields. So this is what we could see from going for by going for the interdisciplinary approach or multidisciplinary approach and all. So rather than going much into the introduction of this topic, I think it is better to start the topic and deal with it. So let's get started. So we know that demand and supply are the very basic things or very basic concepts in economics because these considered to be the market forces. So as a result, it's very important to understand the difference between demand and supply. In the video which deals with the market mechanism, I have already discussed the definition of both demand and supply. There I have already covered the difference between the law of demand, law of supply, demand curve, supply curve, its interaction and all. So I don't think that I should go for a repetition here because you are very much clear about the concepts, right? So whether it is in terms of the law of demand or law of supply, we have seen that there exists some kind of relationship between the quantity demanded or quantity supplied with the price of the commodity, right? If it is demand, there exists an inverse relationship. If it is supply, there exists a positive relationship, that is a direct relationship. Now thus price and quantity are related, whether it is inverse or diverse. This is what is told, or this is what is understood from the law of demand and law of supply. But here, whether it is in terms of law of demand or whether it is in terms of law of supply, with the movement in price, with the movement in the changes in price, or with the changes in price, what we see is that supply or demand also changes. But the law of demand and law of supply do not tell anything about how much would be the change. That is, if price changes, by how much does the quantity demanded or the quantity supply change is not answered under the law of demand or law of supply. So in order to answer this particular question, we introduce a concept of elasticity in the arena of economics in order to understand the magnitude or intensity of change in quantity demanded or change in quantity supplied as a result of change in price. This is termed as change, and this is understood as elasticity of demand when we express it in terms of demand, quantity demanded, and it is understood in terms when it is understood in terms of quantity supply, we call it as elasticity of supply. Okay, in this particular video we are actually concentrated on elasticity of demand alone, but in my upcoming videos in my next video I'll be covering the elasticity of supply concept as well. Okay, now while dealing with the demand elasticity, it's very important to understand the different types of elasticity by looking into the aspect of on which criteria we are looking into the elasticity of demand, whether it is in terms of the price of the own commodity or whether it is in terms of the prices of the related goods or whether it is in terms of the income spent on the commodity. And also it's very important to understand in what terms that we are expressing the elasticity of demand, and understood in that terms, it's very important to understand that there are several types of elasticity of demand by if we look into the criteria on which we are classifying which elasticity or what elasticity. So in this particular slide, what we could see is that the price elasticity of demand. price elasticity of demand means that it is the degree of responsiveness of quantity demanded of a commodity to the change in its price. So this is very important. We are looking into the influence of quantity demanded or influence of price change on the quantity demanded of a commodity. That is known as the price elasticity of demand. We are just concerned about how much change in quantity demanded is how much change in quantity demanded is caused by how much change in price. This is what is understood from the price elasticity of demand. Here price means the price of the own commodity. That is, if you are concerned about the quantity demanded of apples, we are just looking into how the price of apples, how the change in price of apples is influencing its change in quantity demanded. So we have a formula and notation to understand the concept very much clearly. So price elasticity is understood as the percentage change in quantity demanded divided by percentage change in price, which is also called as the proportionate change in quantity demanded divided by proportionate change in price. Okay, so we have an equation as well to deal with the price elasticity of demand, that is delta Q by Q by delta P by P. Here delta Q means change in the quantity and Q is the original quantity or the initial quantity. Then delta P by P, in this delta P means change in price and P means the initial price or the original price. Okay. Now so whether it is price elasticity or whether it is income elasticity or whether it is gross elasticity, we have different types of elasticity. By looking into the intensity of elasticity, we can tell that the price elastic demand, if a 1% change in price causes a greater than 1% change in quantity demanded, this is known as the price elastic demand. And then we have the price unitary elastic demand, that is here 1% change in price causes exactly 1% change in quantity demanded. Then we have price inelastic demand, that is a 1% change in price causes a less than 1% change in quantity demanded. Then, as we have already discussed, there are different types of elasticity on the way in which we look into the concept of whether we are looking in terms of income, whether we are looking in terms of price, or whether we are looking in terms of expenditure or revenues, something like that. So, if you look the elasticity of quantity demanded on the basis of or in terms of the total revenue or total expenditure incurred on that particular commodity, then we have three types of mainly three types of elasticity. That is, first is a price elastic demand, as we have already discussed in the previous slide. Price elastic demand, that is, if the price is lowered, total revenue will rise when the firm faces price elastic demand. That is the case, and the reverse thing happens for the other case. That is, if the price rise, then the total revenue will fall. This is the case of the this is the case of the price elastic demand. Now coming to the unitary elastic demand or the unit elastic demand. Here a small change in price do not change the total revenue, or we could say that when the firm is facing a demand that is unit elastic, if it increases price, the total revenue will not change, and if it decreases price, the total revenue will not change either. That is the case of the unit elastic demand. And in the earlier case, we have seen that in the case of price elastic demand, we could see that the unit elastic demand is the equality between the percentage change in price and percentage change in quality demand. So both will be proportional, or both will be exactly equal. Now coming to third case, that is a price inelastic demand. Here a positive relationship exists between the small change in price and the total revenue. That is, when the firm is facing a demand price inelastic curve, it means that if it rises price, the total revenue will go up, and if it reduces price, the total revenue will go down. Now, having discussed the different types of price elasticity of demand and different types of the elasticity in terms of total revenue or total expenditure, it is very much important to understand what are the determinants of price elasticity, or what are the determinants of elasticity of demand. Okay, first of all, we have to understand that ease of substitution is a very important factor that influence the price elasticity of demand. Here it is understood that the greater the number of substitutes available for a particular product, greater would be the elasticity of demand. Now coming to the number of uses of the commodity, it means that if the commodity has got many uses or several uses, that means that the commodity, the demand for the commodity is elastic. Now, third is the proportion of income spent on the product. If the income spent on the product is a greater proportion of your income, then it means that the product represents greater elasticity. Coming to the duration of the product, duration in the sense that in the elastic demand will tend to be greater in the long run and in rather than in the short run. So I hope you are familiar with the difference between long run and short run. Long run is a period that is usually considered to be more than 1 year, and short run is usually considered as a period which is less than 1 year. Okay. Now then we have durability. Greater the durability of the product, the greater will be the elasticity demand. Durability of the product means once you purchase a product, to what extent or how long you will be able to use the product. That is known as the durability of the product. For example, if you purchase a air conditioner, then you will be able to use it at least till the warranty or guarantee period ends. Or then compare this case with the case you buy a tomato. You won't be able to use the tomato so long as it has got a warranty or guarantee, because the product doesn't have any warranty or guarantee. And also you keep it for more than a week, you could see that the product, the tomato, it actually becomes very bad, right? It spoils, right? So that means that these tomatoes and fruits and vegetables kinds of things these are very much perishable. These are perishable. You won't be able to store it for too long compared to air conditioner and all, right? Now the last point is addiction to the product. If you are very much addicted to the product or if you are not addicted to the product, that is the case. If you are addicted to the product or if the product has become a part of your habit, then it is very much difficult for you to stay away from using the product. In this case actually it is very much difficult for you to make yourself free from using the product. Here the demand for the product is considered to be inelastic, and the opposite is the case when the product is when you are not addicted to the product. Okay. Now, coming to the arc elasticity, what we have discussed in the previous slides is what you could see is the point elasticity. Point elasticity, in the sense that you are looking into the elasticity of a product at a particular point. That is a point elasticity, where you have seen as the delta Q by delta P into P by Q. That is a point elasticity case, and here we have the arc elasticity. That is, we look into a portion of a curve. That is, a segment of a curve is selected, and you look into the elasticity of that selected portion of the curve, and definitely you know that the curve, when it is a segment, it has got two endpoints, right? Now here we can look into the case of both linear curve and non-linear curve, and if it is a non-linear curve, you will make it linear by drawing a tangent of the curve, tangent to the curve. Then in this case actually there is a slight change in the formula, where you could see the formula is delta Q by into P1 plus P2 by 2 and divided by delta P into Q1 plus Q2 divided by 2. Here P1, here delta Q, which I have already told, this is the change in the quantity demanded. P1 is the first price and P2 is the first price, and delta P is the change in the price, and Q1 is the first quantity and Q2 is the second quantity. Here this is for your attention. I mean, this table will give you a very clear picture regarding the terminology, measure of elasticity, and verbal description of how to understand the term, how to understand elasticity. This This table itself will give you a very clear-cut understanding. This table actually summarizes what we have already explained, so please go through the table. If you have any doubt, please comment on the comment box. I'll be explaining if you want want me to explain the table once again, because it is very clear. I hope it would be clear, but if you have any doubt, please comment on the comment box, don't worry. So here we look into the different types of goods. Different types of goods in the sense that there are there are inferior goods, normal goods, then substitute goods, complementary goods, etc. Here, if it is inferior goods, that you know that it is something that is different from the normal good. The law of demand actually won't apply to inferior good. This is considered to be an exception to the law of demand. The inferior good is considered to be an exception to the law of demand, because the law of demand in many cases is not applicable to inferior good. When your income increases, you won't spend more on inferior good. Also, when the price of the inferior good falls, it doesn't mean that you are spending a lot many of your income on the inferior goods. So as a result, we could see that here for inferior good, the income elasticity of demand is negative, and for normal good it is positive. And when it is substitute goods, when I say substitute goods, it means that substitution ranges from it has got a range. So it ranges from 0 to 1. 0 means there is no possibility of substitution, and 1 means the two products that we consider in the question are perfect substitutes, right? So the elasticity is positive for substitute goods, that is, price increase of a substitute leads to an increased quantity of that good demanded. And then complementary goods. Complementary goods means commodities which are jointly consumed. For example, pen and paper, pencil and paper, car and petrol, car and diesel, etc. So you won't be able to consume the good as one, because it is only by consuming the other good you will be able to consume the good under the question, right? You won't be able to use car without petrol or without diesel. You won't be able to use pen or pencil without using paper, right? So these are known as the complementary goods. And here, in the case of complementary goods, the cross elasticity of demand would be negative. That is, the price increase of a complement leads to a decrease in the quantity demanded of that particular good. That means that there is a negative relationship. Now coming to the third concept, having discussed the price elasticity in terms of expenditure or revenue, let's discuss the income elasticity of demand. Income elasticity of demand actually measures the degree of responsiveness of the quantity demanded of a product to the change in income of the consumer. And here it can be expressed as QD by QD, delta QD by QD into so that is, the whole term is divided by delta Y by Y. Here QD is the quantity demanded of the product, and delta QD is a change in the quantity demanded of the product. Delta Y is a change in your income, and Y is simply your income. Now then we have the cross elasticity. Cross elasticity we have already discussed when we consider the complements and substitutes. This is actually the responsiveness of quantity demanded of one commodity to changes in price of the other commodity. We have basically two different types of commodities, substitutes and complements, when it comes to cross elasticity of demand. So this can be measured by going for the formula percentage change in quantity demanded of commodity X by percentage change in the price of the commodity Y, or you could see it as a proportionate change in the quantity demanded of X by proportionate change in the price of commodity Y. Here we are looking into the influence of influence of price of one commodity on the quantity demanded of the other commodity. That's it. Here based on the formula, you could see that it is the delta QD by QX divided by delta PY by PY, or you could express this equation in terms of the other commodity. If you're taking the commodity X, you have to express the price of the commodity Y. If you're taking the case of commodity Y, you have to express the price of the commodity X. That's it. So cross elasticity actually varies from minus infinity to plus infinity. Complementary goods will have negative cross elasticity, as we have already discussed, and substitute goods have positive cross elasticity. With this, we end today's video. Thank you for watching. Please like, share and subscribe. I'll be back very soon with the topic elasticity of supply. Thank you.